Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my updated Star-Vader Infinite deck. So Infinite is much better than it was before. Although I won't say that it's that much better than when it had the Legion mixed with the Break Ride, which is what I had before. But now it does have a pure Infinite, like 8 copies of an Infinite Vanguard in here. And for the first time, Link Joker finally has a re-standing or a re-ride based Vanguard in the form of Infinite, so we'll go over that here. So for Infinite Zero Dragon, he's just really good. He was one of the best break rides during break ride format, which was still kind of, looking back, still my favorite era of Vanguard. Break ride was just really fun and balanced. There wasn't a whole lot of power creep back then the way there is now. So next, for Star-Vader Infinite, Distarv. Distarv is their restander. So basically there's two ways it does it, or it re-rides kind of like Raging Form in like different ways, or Thing Saver. Like one is when he's on rear guard circle, you can counterblast 2, choose a card of your hand, discard it when his attack hits a Vanguard, and you have Infinite Zero on the Vanguard circle. You can bind this unit face up and ride that card as stand. So you bind this and then you ride this. So it can make it just basically is a restand play. Then also he has limit break skill when he's the Vanguard. When his attack hits, you have this thing as, you have the break ride as a rear guard. You bind the rear guard face up, then you ride it as stand. If you wrote a card and you choose a rear guard from your opponent's front row and back row and lock them. So basically it just makes it like the limit break skill happen, where it locks stuff happens anyway. So yeah, pretty nice actually. I like that Link Joker finally has a restanding Vanguard. So, and I'm glad they went to Infinite, not anything else. Although Nebula Lord is still kind of one of my favorite ones. I really want them to do like a Legion Revival for that card or something. Next, for Companion Star-Vader Photon, he's just really good in Star-Vader. Locks stuff for free when you already have something locked. Him plus the break ride, any of this combo of locking stuff ensures that you you triangle lock the opponent. Next, for Gemingar Dragon, he works really good with Big Crunch Dragon, where that Omega locks the column in front of him. He gets 2k for every locked card in the same column as him. I feel like he would have been so much nicer if it was he gets 2k for every locked card the opponent has. Because it's a little bit lackluster, which means the strongest he can get is 13k, and unless you're running Lantham or some other stuff, which I was running originally, but I found that it wasn't really needed, he's just not all that strong. But I do like the fact, the only reason why I run him over Radon is because he has the ability of when your grade 3 Infinite is placed on V, you may counterblast 1 and choose one of your opponent's back row and lock it, so that can help him get his 13k. When you're doing one of these plays or restanding or whatever. The last spot could either be Radon, but I'm running Osmium just for the on-hit pressure to Omega Lock. Yeah, it's just, you want to pressure the opponent. Link Joker is supposed to be kind of one of those really annoying decks to play against, like Mega Colony. So just try to capitalize on, just pressure them to try to make them give up cards from their hand, basically, so you don't fall behind and they don't have this enormous hand that you can't get through, and so you end up decking out. Next, for Perfect Guards, we do not run the Quintet Wall. The Quintet Wall is interesting. If I was going to make a Star-Vader Legion deck, I would try running the Quintet Wall. I'm considering also attempting it with Glendios in the future. So I may bring back Glendios. May make some really weird Star-Vader deck that has Glendios and the Quintet Wall, the new Quintet Wall. But for now I am running just the standard Perfect Guards. For Buromin, he's really good. Now he's even better because we have the new Infinite, so now we have like more targets for him than before. Next, 3 Heliopause Dragon. This card is okay, but it would be so much better if it was not GB1 restricted. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal because the opponent has to have a locked card for him to do anything, but if you're not striding, if you're instead like relying on the break ride play or this type of combo play, he won't really be able to do anything unless you have GB1. So in that sense, he is kind of lousy, but he is still 10k. He's Soul Blast 1, 10k boost with the or attacker, and then he can go into the soul at the end to restock, replace himself. So yeah, and he also Omega locks, so that's the reason why I like him. Next, 2 Limit Break Enablers, and 1 Volt Line. We'll talk about why these are so few copy, mainly because my Chaos Breaker deck has the rest of my copies of these cards. But you can tutor them with your starter, so it's not that big of a deal. For the trigger lineup, we are running 4 draw, 8 critical, everything Star-Vader, 4 heal, everything Star-Vader on the trigger lineup, and Involution, Star-Vader Carbon as a starter. Like I said, this card is the best starter for the Star-Vaders because it is the reason why you only really need like 2 of your Limit Break Enabler and 1 Volt Line. Now, honestly, I definitely recommend tutoring, using him to fetch your Limit Break Enabler so you're not dependent on being at 4 damage for these. However, do keep in mind that the Limit Break Enabler does not help Quintessence get the Omega Lock effect, so you still may want to build up the damage there. It's just making sure, because we don't run Stride Fodder, like we don't run the Grade 1 Stride Fodder, that we can still, the deck can still function without GB 1, 2 type stuff. So that's the main reason why this is in here, and that's the starter. For the Stride units, I am running 2 Quintessence Dragon. What I like about him is he's not a Persona Blast or nothing, so I can stride him twice. Twice is kind of pretty standard. I am running 2 Big Crunch like I stride it once. I really wish I had 2 more of this, then, because this is like a really good card. But yeah, so these are pretty much, these are like stride 1, 2, and 3, or stride 1, 2, and 3, or some order like that. These are my go-to strides for the Infinite deck for now. Another decent one, 1 copy of is Maximum Seal Dragon, because technically most of the time the opponent will have 2 or 3 locked units, so this will be at least a 36k or 41k without a boost. So that's still a pretty big number. And then 2 on-hit pressure ones, not that big of a deal. It's just there because I don't have anything else. I would rather, instead of running this, I would rather run 2 more Big Crunch if I had them. And then 2 Amnesty Messiah. I finally have these as rares, but whatever, I can do it. But honestly, the only time you'll be able to use this Amnesty effect is if the opponent is triangle locked and somehow you manage to Omega lock them or whatever. And then, or if you had some combination of that with Demon Maxwell locking your own stuff, then I could see this actually being useful. So 1 of this is probably enough. You definitely would run like 4 Big Crunch, maybe 3 Quintessence, and 1 of these, and 1 of those, and 3 of this because it's G Guardian. 1 Destiny Guardian, he's pretty good too, but I only have 1 of him. Then I just have like leftover stuff like Blizza is still in here, Scryu, and Desmal. Desmal, situational because typically you'll lock their front rear guards, but sometimes they'll be able to get through. So Desmal could still be a little bit useful in those situations. And Blizz is just like another more easier to use Seal Dragon, which you can use in a very late game to try to close the game out. So anyway, guys, that's kind of like a budget line Star-Vader deck. Although I think Infinite is kind of hard to find now. But let me know what you guys think of the Infinite deck. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.